Hello, this is Mrs. Burnett, and this video is over potential and kinetic energy. Make sure that you are taking your C notes. There will be a quiz at the end of this video, and they will be your quiz questions for when you come to class. Okay, a couple of definitions. You do need to know the definition of energy. In this case, when we're talking about energy, we're talking about energy and force. So this is the ability to do work. Work is being done whenever some physical force is being used to move an object some distance. Okay, so these are two important definitions. So how is all energy divided? Well, all energy can be divided into two groups, potential energy and kinetic energy. Potential energy can be divided into three additional groups: gravitational potential energy, elastic potential energy, and chemical potential energy. Okay, make sure you draw this in your notes. Okay, this is a great way to help you organize how energy is categorized. So what is potential energy? Well, potential energy is energy that is stored and waiting to be used later. Okay, this ball right here has potential energy when it reaches the very end of its rope and stops for just a second. This box has potential energy. It's being held up by the pulley system. Okay. When the scissors cut this string, okay, this weight will fall on this cork. Okay, so it has potential energy because it's sitting up here waiting to use the energy that it has stored up. Okay, so we said that potential energy is categorized into three groups. Okay, the first one being gravitational potential energy. Okay, that's this crane again. Okay, this is potential energy due to an object's position. Okay, we can find how much potential energy it has by multiplying the mass times the height times the gravity. Okay, so here we have this. If we took the mass of this times the height times gravity, okay, we would get how much potential energy exactly that this weight has. So remember, this is an object's potential energy due to its position. Okay. You can also remember that the higher the object is, the greater the potential energy. Okay. So if we look at this mound of dirt, okay, it has great potential energy to fall from here. Okay, gravity will pull it down. So it is storing energy right now. Then when it has enough energy stored up and when gravity is strong enough, this rock will fall probably over this road. Okay. This dog has high potential energy because he's higher than this human. Okay, gravity, if he falls, will pull him down, and the potential energy that he is storing will become kinetic energy. So what is elastic potential energy? Well, this is potential energy due to compression or expansion of an object. Okay, so here we have the boy with the paddle again. This is elastic potential energy. Okay, it's being expanded, then it'll be compressed, then it'll be expanded, and then it'll be compressed. Okay, let's look at these balls. Okay, they're all falling, but if you notice, when they get down here to the bottom, they'll compress, and then they'll come up. So if you watch, they compress, and then they come up. Now the object that compresses the most is going to come back up. So if you notice, this one gets smaller than the rest of them, so it goes much higher. It'll come up here and stop. It'll have potential energy again. That time it'll be gravitational potential energy, and then it will come back down. Okay, your rubber bands have elastic potential energy. When you pull them out as far as they will go, okay, they will stop, Then if you let them go, they will fly. So what is chemical potential energy? Well, chemical potential energy is the potential energy stored within the chemical bonds of an object. So here is a piece of charcoal. It has chemical potential energy because it has the potential to be light on fire and burn and release thermal energy. So this has chemical potential energy. Okay. Batteries. Batteries are full of chemical potential energy. Their energy is not being used until you turn them on. Then once you turn them on, they know they will lose their potential energy because they'll be using that energy to produce light. All right, so what's kinetic energy? Well, that's energy an object has due to its motion. Okay, kinetic energy can be found by calculating 1/2 of the mass times the speed squared. So if you're going to do this math-wise, okay, you have to do the parentheses first, okay, but inside the parentheses you have to do the exponents and then multiply your mass times your speed with your squared and then divide it by 2 or multiply by 0.5. So here we have an object with great potential energy. It's high off the ground. It's being held up by this pulley. When those scissors get cut, it then changes its potential energy to kinetic energy as it falls down and lands on this cork. Okay, roller coasters are a great example of potential and kinetic energy. If you watch over here to the side, it'll show you how the potential energy and the kinetic energy change as the roller coaster car goes through the roller coaster. So notice when the object would be going faster, its kinetic energy is higher. When it slows down, its potential energy is higher. So if we watch it again, it starts full of potential energy. Then they change as it speeds up. Full of kinetic. It's going to slow down up here, so they change. It's going to speed up. They change again. Okay. Let's watch it one more time. Notice it has full of potential energy here. Its next highest point of potential energy will be at the top of this roller coaster, then at the top of this roller coaster, okay, then at the top of this hill, and then at the top of this hill. Okay, so that's its highest points of potential energy. Notice it's highest because of its place. It's next highest because it's higher off the ground. Okay, and each time when it gets lower and lower, it has less potential energy. All right, so let's check out our skier. Same thing. Its highest point of potential energy is going to be up here until it finally comes to a stop. Okay, so here it's full of potential energy. It's high off the ground. Okay, and then it's going to change as it goes faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Then it's going to slow down, so it's going to lose kinetic energy. It's going to slow, it's going to slow, it's going to slow, it's going to slow, it's going to slow. It's at this point used all of its kinetic energy, so its potential energy is none. It has no kinetic, it's not moving, and it's used all of its potential energy coming down this slope and then slowing to a stop. All right, so your quiz questions. Okay, you may want to pause so you can write these down and then answer them. If you need to go back through the video to answer some of these questions, feel free to do that. All right, number 1, what is the difference between potential and kinetic energy? Number 2, when would we use gravitational potential energy? Number 3, when would we use elastic potential energy? Number 4, when would you use chemical potential energy? Number 5. When an object's speed is blank, its kinetic energy is blank. Number 6. When an object is further from the ground, its potential energy is blank. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. So make sure you get these quiz questions done. They will be on your quiz when this video is due. If you have any questions, please feel free to come see me, and I will see you guys in class.